Hey guys, it's Kade. So, this week's topic is love, with a focus on our partners. Really, I think we're talking about mostly this week how this um, whole love thing, the opposite of last week, is basically how our partner experiences love, dating or seeing or being intimate with a trans person. So, I've been with my same partner for 5, going on 5 years. Her name's Kaylee. I think she's downstairs walking the dog. Um, but so for us, it's been kind of challenging because we've switched. We've went from when we first started dating, I was identifying then as a butch lesbian and she was a straight woman. So when we got together, it was really difficult at first because it was something really new for her. She'd never been with a woman. Not that I was very feminine by any means, but she'd just never been in a queer relationship. So that definitely took some adjusting at first. And then her family wasn't supportive at first either. Um, so that definitely took, a lot of strength for her to do. Not because, falling in love is hard, but because falling in love, knowing that society is going to place its own judgments on you, and your family and friends are going to have their own opinions about your relationship. And that's what made it hard. Everyone came around eventually, and we're great now. I mean, obviously, we've been together 5 years, but it definitely was hard at first, especially when we were a same sex couple. We've changed since then, though, obviously, because I've shifted my gender, and I think her sexuality, not that it's ever been labeled, but has shifted as well. So, when we were first identifying, I think it hurt my feelings a little bit when she identified as a straight woman when I was still perceived as female. Not that that's anything against her, but it was my feelings being hurt because I didn't feel as though I was enough to satisfy her identity. Um, so when she would tell people, like, people would say, "Oh, like, you're dating," and my name back then was Kayla. So, "Oh, you're dating Kayla, so are you a lesbian?" And she would be like, "No." And then that would bring up a whole another set of questions, and people just couldn't understand. And this was years ago. I mean, this was 5 years ago. We've made immense progress in the community since then. But 5 years ago, people were like, I don't understand. Like, that doesn't make sense. You can't just jump from dating cisgendered men to dating a woman. Like, even if Kayla identifies more masculinely and presents more masculinely in the bedroom, it's still different, right? Like, so how can you say that you're not gay? So that definitely took a lot for her to adjust to. And I'm telling her story. If she walks in, she walks in, and that's great. But I'll let her know I'm sharing this just because I think it's important, for her to give me permission to do that. I think in a relationship, it's important to check in with your partner and know where they're at. So, but yeah, it was hard at first, and I felt a little insecure about our relationship just because I felt like I wasn't enough because she had only dated straight men or cisgendered men. So it was definitely hard at first, and then she started identifying. I actually created my own YouTube channel a couple years ago. Wasn't super successful. I didn't have a lot of followers, which is fine. That's not why I was doing it. But when I was doing my own YouTube channel, I made it to where we had different people in the LGBT community have a day dedicated to them, and they would tell their story every week. Very similar to what we do here. And Kaylee was on there, and she would talk about her experiences. And it was really nice that she agreed to do that, even though technically she was just an ally who happened to be dating a trans person. That's a whole nother controversial topic, is if a person that's dating a trans person is queer, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, so she was on the channel, and she would tell her perspective on dating a person who is queer, or not in the binary. And that was a really cool thing to watch. But when we started doing that, she started identifying more as pansexual. Just, I think, to appease me and society, just so that she had a label. Not that people need labels. You can love whoever the freak you want to love, and that should be fine. But yeah, for her, she started to identify more as pansexual, and I think that was just the easiest way for people to, when they ask questions like, oh, you're dating a female, are you gay? No, I'm pan. I just like people. Whoever I have a connection with, that's who I want to be with. um, but then I think it shifted again, because now that I, am out as trans and I'm on testosterone and I'm passing more as male, she's a straight woman again. Not that she ever wasn't, but she can identify that way and feel safe in that. Um, because regardless of if I'm trans or not, I'm a man, she's a woman, so in society's eyes, we're a straight relationship. And I think looking back, not that I would change it, but she should have identified as straight the whole time. And I think a lot of that, like I said, was just to appease society, but she shouldn't have had to do that. And you give and take in relationships, and you live and learn. I think I felt my feelings were hurt because I didn't feel like I was good enough. I think a lot of that was my own repressed feelings with being trans and not knowing how to transition and come to terms with the fact that I was trans. And so when she would say that she was straight, it hurt my feelings because I didn't feel like I was enough, especially man enough. But we've passed that. But yeah, so love, trying to be in love and being in love with a person that's trans or just LGBT, it's important to like have these conversations and realize things change. She's identified since we've been together 3 different ways, 2 of which are the same. So she went from being a straight woman to pansexual, now to straight again. And not that she wasn't straight the whole time, she was just trying to fit in with what society wanted her to be and what her friends and parents wanted her to be, when in reality, she's just been Kaylee. Like, she's just dating whoever she fell in love with. She only dated straight men before, and now she just happens to be dating a trans man. But she's still attracted to men and masculinity, so that's a whole nother thing too. I think you can be attracted to, just speaking of love, you can be attracted to qualities in a person or qualities in a group of people. Just like you can be attracted to people that are tall or short or have brown hair or brown eyes or blue eyes. You can be attracted to masculinity. It doesn't have to be in the form of anatomy. It can be that you present more masculinely. So that's Kaylee in a nutshell. And if she comes up here, I'll make her say hi and introduce herself, which I hope she does. But if not, that's okay too. She's a teacher, so she has a long day, and I'm sure she's exhausted. Otherwise, I've been in other relationships, and every other relationship I've been in have all been straight women who have identified as straight. I used to have an ex, I guess you would call her an ex. She was my best friend. Things were really complicated between us because I was over the hills in love with this girl, or at least I thought I was. And she was a straight woman, and I think she wanted to be loved, and I was giving her that love. But I don't think I'm the person she wanted it from necessarily. It's a whole story, and it doesn't really matter. But she used to always say, like, I like men and a side of me, or other girls I've dated have said that too. I like men, but also a side of, and my name was Kayla, my birth name is Kayla. So they'd say, I like men and a side of Kayla. And it was a joke. And I think looking back on it, it hurts my feelings now because that made me feel like I was less than, like just because I was female anatomied, you thought of me as less of a person, or I wasn't good enough to be your everything. And not that anyone meant it that way. I don't think I realized it even hurt my feelings until now. But that's okay. Like I said, you live and you learn. Things change. People change. Life's a mystery. You never know what you're going to get. So, on another topic, I really need a haircut. I'm getting one, I think, tomorrow. But this is the longest my hair has been in years. I like it really short. It makes me feel real mask and real good when I get a nice short haircut. I just haven't had the time, energy, effort, or money, honestly, to do it, just because I'm paying off all my debt. Like all of my debt, like all my thousands of dollars of debt, so I can move and buy a house next year. Not that that's what we're talking about, but yeah, so love is definitely your partner and their identification. Dating a trans person is really important, or dating a queer person or anyone that is LGBT plus. It's really important, and things change, and that's okay. I hate the idea of having labels, but there's the show The Fosters. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's super LGBT friendly. It's actually a really cool show because it literally encompasses a lot of different controversial topics. They talk about same-sex marriage. The main couple is a lesbian couple. They adopt kids of different nationalities, kids that are in juvie, and then they have a bunch of, there's a gay relationship, and there's trans characters. They talk about obesity. They talk about guns. Like, everything you can think of that's controversial, this show covers. And then there's a spin-off show called Good Trouble. Also highly recommend both of those shows. But in the show, The Fosters, there's a scene when one of the trans characters, his name is Cole in the show. I'm not sure I know how they identify now or the character's name, but you should definitely watch it. But in the show, Cole says, I can understand not wanting to check a box. I can understand not wanting to say I'm male or female, or I like men or I like women. But there's pride in labels too. And that line has stuck with me. And then Kaylee, my partner, she tweeted that years and years ago. She's like, why do we go around putting people in boxes? And we shouldn't. People should just be, like, you shouldn't have to go up to someone and say, hey, I'm Kade, I'm trans, or hey, I'm Kade, I like women. Like, it should just be like, I'm Kade, I'm Kade, and I'm doing my own thing, and I'm living my own life, and it's no one's business but my own, and maybe my partner, who I'm intimate with, what I do in the bedroom, or, there's the saying that gender is who you go to bed as, and sexuality is who you go to bed with. But none of that matters. It's that you're going to bed and you're waking up the next morning. You're a human being with feelings and emotions, and that should be fine. Kaylee Ann, come in here. Can you say hi to my camera? I'm talking... No, wait, come here. I'm talking about you. This whole episode's about you, so just come say hello. 2 seconds. Come here. Come here. Talk to my camera. You don't have to get behind me. Come here. Come here. Can you see yourself? Say hi to my beautiful girlfriend. You're not my girlfriend, are you?
This is a 12-minute video?
Yeah. Don't judge my videos. Just say hello.
Hi.
Do you have anything to say about being with a trans person? This video is about... I talked about our relationship and how it's evolved from you were like straight and then you started to identify as pan, I think, to appease me in society, but now you're kind of identifying as straight again, and just your process dating a trans person.
I love you.
That's it?
I don't want to be in your video.
Then just say bye.
Hi.
To the people. Why don't you want to be in my video? Kaylee doesn't want to be in the video, but she said hi for 2 seconds, so I guess that's important. And she kissed me, so she loves me, which I guess is all that matters. That's the whole point of the video, right? So, yep, that's really what I have on this week's topic. I know the video wasn't great, and I kind of just went on, and it was probably pretty boring. But that's my perspective on this week's video, and that's what you get. So, if you have any questions, like always, put them in the comments or send us a message on IG. We'd be happy to talk about anything that you guys want to cover. So, I'm going to go to bed. It's 8 o'clock, but I'm going to go to bed now because I'm tired and Kaylee's tired. So, we're going to snuggle up in our bed. But yeah, I hope you guys had a great Tuesday and have a better Wednesday tomorrow with Jake. Yeah, so I'll talk to you guys next week. Oh, Cooper wants to say hello. Cooper! Hi! Bye, guys.